What's up, Sweaties? It's John Schnepp here. You were watching a spoiler-filled Schneppzone episode of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We were just going to get totally into the spoilers of the film. If you don't want to know about this movie, turn this off right now. Now's your chance. Go away, watch my non-spoiler review, which is also up here, and I'm just going to get into it right away. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 kind of picks up maybe a year or so after the first Guardians, Volume 1. The Guardians are really well known. They're performing services all across the universe, and we're watching them do one for this group, this alien super conglomerate of planets called the Sovereign. These kind of uppity, golden kind of skinned, literally gold-skinned, reflective kind of almost like clones. I can't remember exactly what they are. They're just a bunch of dicks. Let's just leave it at that. They're very full of themselves. The Guardians do what their job was supposed to be, but they kind of Rocket takes some batteries. All of a sudden, the Sovereigns, they're very very insecure about getting messed with, so they're after the Guardians. They're chasing them around. Introduce a couple of different aspects. We've got Yondu, whose former teammates, the original Guardians of the Galaxy, led by Sylvester Stallone, playing Starhawk. I mean, this was just like, wow. They're gonna, and then when I'm gonna jump forward to some of the end credits, like you'll hear about this has got 4 end credit sequences. One of them is the entire original Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was fantastic to see that entire team, and believe me, I want to see that movie. I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy, the OG team. I would love to see that. Even if Gunn's not doing it, I want to see someone take that team on, and I want to see an adventure with those guys. So let me jump back to the beginning of the film. All of a sudden it's revealed Star-Lord has a dad, and he's Kurt Russell. Who wouldn't want Kurt Russell as a dad? He's Ego, the living planet. Yes, you do see a shot of the planet with a face on it. You get that flavor. It's not the whole time. You see it a couple times, but it is a bearded, weird planet with red eyes. It doesn't talk, but it represents Kurt Russell. He plays Star-Lord's dad. He went to Earth, hung out with Star-Lord's mom. We find out later, as the movie progresses, the team breaks up, and we kind of go into these 2 different kind of scenarios. One on a prison planet with Yondu, arrested by his original guys, the Ravagers, and they've turned on him. And then Star-Lord has gone with Ego to his home planet, which is Ego. Ego is a planet, and he breaks off little parts of himself and goes to inseminate the world. He's trying to have a star kid. He's trying to have a star god baby, and the only successful star god baby is Peter Quill. So he's like, finally, you can help me run this planet. And when I say run this planet, I mean take it over and absorb it and destroy the universe. So it's sort of like Peter Quill's like, my God, my dad is an insane god. I've got to stop him. He finds this out a little after he's gotten some kind of a little bit after he's realized he has godlike powers bequeathed onto him by the planet itself. So he kind of has this big fight. He almost becomes like a Superman type character where he's like flying around. I had flashbacks of Zod fighting Superman. They're fighting. Yondu and Raccoon, Yondu and Rocket and Baby Groot are on the Ravagers prison ship, and they're breaking out. That whole scene is really fun, but here's where things kind of get really uneven. The story doesn't really move from that point. We're going back and forth between the prison ship and Ego, the living planet's planet, and that's kind of the story. That's it. You get a little bit more of Sovereign. You get one more scene with Sylvester Stallone, but that's pretty much it. And I mean, it resolves itself in this gigantic fight on Ego, the living planet, where all the Guardians get there. They've all teamed up. They're all fighting Ego. It's a giant, massive battle. It's really fun, but I gotta say, some of these sequences come off a little bit uneven. I use that term a lot in reviewing this film, but I gotta say, just right off the bat, while Star-Lord and Rocket Raccoon are flying in their ship to avoid the Sovereign, there's like 1,000 ships flying after them, and Rocket and Star-Lord are having this back and forth, taking command of the ship. No, I'm the one who's going to fly it. They're like doing all this crazy maneuvers, and it kind of takes away from some of the cool outer space. It just takes away from some of the cool outer space battle sequences when there's all this kind of like almost forced upon you humor where It's not believable that they keep switching back and forth, that they're not just smacking into an asteroid right away. And my mind went back to The Empire Strikes Back when Han Solo was like, you know, I'm going to veer the Millennium Falcon towards these asteroids to avoid the Star Destroyers, and C-3PO's like tells him the odds. He's like, never tell me the odds. And then they have that cool music, and you have this whole sequence built around, number one, Harrison Ford as Han Solo being a badass, piloting this ship, but number two, you're allowed to see him pilot the ship and be a badass. When you keep cutting back and forth, it was him and Chewie arguing the whole time, you would have never had that cool asteroid sequence with John Williams' music. This, I can't even really remember what the music was playing because we kept cutting back to them arguing to the point where it's like it wasn't even fun anymore. And that's some of the sequences that happen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that unfortunately happen. They're sprinkled throughout the whole movie. There's a little sprinkling of scenes that kind of deflate the whole meaning of the scene, where the goes on a little bit too long. The humor that was there gets dragged out till it's not funny anymore, and that happens a bunch of times. Not enough times to make me not like the film. I still love the film, but it made me not like it as much as I like the first Guardians of the Galaxy. It's right there with it, a little bit under it is what I'd say. Within the Guardians of the Galaxy framework, I'm going to give this, out of 10, I'm giving it 8.5. I really enjoyed the film. I came out with a smile on my face. I came out of the film with a smile on my face, really excited to actually see it again. But to be honest with you, there were some moments in it where I was like, this isn't working. Why aren't they cutting away? Or why do they keep cutting back and forth? It's destroying the pacing. Certain scenes like that is why I'm going to say it was uneven. And though I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy and loved that film, I liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Can't wait to see it again. Hopefully some of those uneven scenes don't feel that way once I get back into it. The flow of the film is great. Everything about it. Man, those end sequences, like I said earlier, Guardians of the Galaxy, the original OG team. Wait till you see who's playing the OG team. Love that. Sylvester Stallone as Starhawk. I couldn't believe it. You have all of the other characters. You got Ving Rhames. I mean, come on. I mean, I could not believe. Wait till you see it. They're also introducing him. That's right. Adam Warlock is introduced at the very end in a little bit of he's in the cocoon. You know he's coming. I don't know if he's going to be in Avengers Infinity War, but he's definitely going to probably be one of the main characters for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You also got a couple of cameos with Howard the Duck shows up again, which I was happy to see. He's in there twice. There's so many little cameos throughout the whole film. I'm going to have to see it a second time just to absorb all that. So like I said, I really enjoyed the film. So definitely, all you sweaties, go out and see this movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is just a little bit under what I thought Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 is. Not a disappointment, just a little bit uneven, but I had a great time, so I highly suggest going to see it. And that's it from me, John Schnepp. You've been watching the Schneppzone movie review. I'm going to be doing these once a week. I'm also going to be doing a lot of other things, so please subscribe to the Schneppzone channel here on YouTube. And like I said, you can follow me on Twitter at just John Schnepp, on Instagram on John Schnepp, and subscribe here, Schneppzone. Take it easy, sweaties.